Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by one of our newest sponsors, Topoco Lodge, an incredible spot in the Smokies, just fantastic. You see right there, built in 1930, rebuilt and reborn under the current ownership. Perfect getaway and a true vacation experience. Check out Topoco.com to learn more. You see it's right there on the river, about 60 miles outside of Knoxville. You talk about getting away. It's where adventure meets sanctuary. Topoco Lodge, we look forward to telling you more about them over the many, many months to come. Look forward to showing you more about them. They are impressive. Topoco Lodge, we welcome them into the Sports Source family. All right. We have some Easter fun coming up later. We have some Easter mean. We're going to throw some mean tweets at John Curry. Blame Vol Nation. That wasn't me sending the mean tweets. We'll also pick an April Fool later in the show. And some of you would be glad to know that I'm in the running. But here's what we're going to do in this segment. Basketball. Will Shelton, who does really good work at GameDayOnRockyTop.com. It's analysis-based, good stuff. He had a point this week. He pointed out that Tennessee ranked 45th nationally in three-point shooting percentage last year. Now, there are 300 and something schools out there, and Tennessee ranked 45th. There were a lot of people talking all season about, well, this team can't shoot. Wrong. Top 45 in terms of three-point shooting. His question, though, and I'll put it to Mike Strange starting, should Tennessee put up more threes next year, take advantage of that, or should they continue with the inside-out play that they focused on this year? What do you do, Mike Strange?
I like the inside-out play because Grant Williams is good inside. He's also a good passer to kick it back out. And I can't think of a lot of games this year that Tennessee lost where I thought, boy, I wish they'd taken more three-point shots.
Fair enough. Anybody disagree? Or was it...
I'll just add, I think part of the reason they had that much success three-point shooting was because of the inside-out approach. I think if you tried shooting more threes, it probably wouldn't be quite as successful. You approach it that way, draw people inside, kick it out.
Your leader wasn't even a guard, correct? It was Admiral Schofield. So, and go back to the Loyola game. That's when they kind of panicked and started throwing up those threes. So inside out, clearly.
Okay. Admiral Schofield put his name in the NBA draft hopper this week, but he's not going to sign with an agent. This is what's done these days. Rick Barnes encouraged him to do it, to go through the process. I don't think there's any chance of him going into the NBA. Does anybody see a concern there?
Can I say, yeah, a little concern?
Okay,
because
but
don't they get to go to a combine situation? I thought they did.
He gets to as a non-draft, as a guy without an agent. I'm not sure if they do or not.
I think there are at least workouts, but I'm not sure.
I just wonder if he goes. If somebody gets impressed by him and somebody says, come back and says, okay, you'll be the 25th player drafted.
That's 40 seconds I did not expect to spend on Admiral Schofield. That's good. No, that's good. I'm going to go look up whether or not they can actually, what kind of workouts they can do with
teams.
Seemed
like I thought they could. And
they have a combine, but I don't know if the kids who don't sign with agents can go to it. I'll have to check on that. Thank you for bringing up something I don't know the answer to. Okay. VolQuest.com. Reporting just through Go Vols 24/7, VolQuest, Game Day on Rocky Top. We're throwing free plugs everywhere here today. They reported this week that they believe Tennessee, well, all of Tennessee's assistants are in lines for raises, okay? But Rob Lanier has had opportunities to go and take over as head coach at several smaller schools, Missouri State, a couple of others. They believe he's going to get a bump in pay from about $350,000 up to around $500,000. That would put him probably top 2 or 3 in the SEC in terms of assistant coaching pay. He has been with Rick Barnes a long time. He's passing on opportunities to go be a head coach. Now, smaller schools, it's not like Georgia came after him. But is there a chance, if things continue well with Rick Barnes, who's in his 60s, is there a chance that Tennessee could have sort of, whether you name it this or not, have sort of a coach-in-waiting relationship with Rob Lanier? Do you think Tennessee would ever be willing to promote a coach from on staff as basketball coach, if things continue well with Tennessee basketball?
I'm not big on coaching waitings. I don't think those usually work out. But I am glad to see Tennessee committing money to basketball and recognizing the potential for basketball. You got a good thing going there. You got a good coaching staff. Keep it going.
And sometimes aren't you better off taking a good job somewhere else if it's a head coaching job, and then if you have a chance to come back? I mean, I wouldn't rule that out either. I mean, what type of head coach are you getting if it's the coach in waiting? You don't know.
Well, let's take the coach in waiting term out of it.
All right.
Here's what I'm getting at. This guy has opportunities. He's staying at Tennessee. They're giving him a big raise. Does anybody think he's looking down the road and saying, maybe I could replace Rick Barnes? I followed him from Texas to Tennessee. He had opportunities to go elsewhere when that happened as well. I just wonder, would Philip Fulmer, if he's AD at that point, would Philip Fulmer, a former assistant promoted to be head coach, look at an assistant at Tennessee? I can't remember Tennessee ever promoting an assistant in basketball to be head coach.
I think you could consider that, but I think it would take such an impressive run by Rick Barnes that it's probably a long way down the road. I think you'd have to have 4 or 5 more years of this kind of success for you to be willing to say, okay, we need to keep this going with his assistant.
That's what I was going to say. If you got a good run like that, though, okay, why not take a chance?
I just want, if Rick Barnes keeps you in contention for SEC titles,
yes,
and Rob Lanier stays around here,
and say if they manage to hold on to him for 4 or 5 more years despite these head coaching offers and they do well, that would be impressive.
What if 3 more years?
Yeah.
What if Barnes does 3 years, and in 3 years he wins the SEC title, gets Tennessee to an Elite 8, Final 4, and says, you know what, that's the way I'm heading out. Now he may want to coach until he's 70, but I just wonder if it's that quick a turnaround and Lanier's still here. I just think it's a new scenario. You never thought about Tennessee promoting a basketball, because usually they're firing coaches or coaches are leaving. So that's an interesting thing that he's hanging around, and you also have an AD who went that route. So and he just hired an assistant to be his head football coach. Just saying. All right, finally, Memphis got rid of Tubby Smith this week and hired Anthony Penny Hardaway, their legendary player who was on the Dream Team, played in the NBA forever. He's been coaching high school basketball out in West Tennessee, so he's going to be a challenge on the recruiting front, I'm sure. But immediately he and Rick Barnes struck an agreement, and Tennessee and Memphis are going to be starting playing basketball again this season, which is a great thing, I think. But I'm going to ask you, good thing? Playing Memphis next 3 years? Bad thing or great thing, which I think?
great.
You think it's great?
Great thing and not much downside. Memphis doesn't even have to worry about Tennessee coming into Memphis that much in recruiting because they're not doing it right now very much under Rick Barnes. So I think it's a win-win for both sides.
It's good for the fans. It's a great thing for the fans. But you're right. It's not really going to. Tennessee's not going to all of a sudden start getting guys out of
Tennessee's
Memphis.
played them for years, and it's never knocked down the borders in Memphis.
I think it's a great thing. You should try it in football too.
Agreed. I agree with you on that.
Nah, don't care about playing in football.
It'll be a fun series right now.
Mean tweets, things that Vol fans sent to John Curry. That's next. Come on back.